Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday gathering at First Center for Spiritual Living. We are at 204 West 84th Street, and it's a beautiful morning at the center here, and we have some new faces, and we're happy to always see all of you on the call with us. We'd like to start with our usual meditation section. It will be for 15 minutes, and we'll be back at 11 a.m. So join us, everyone, as we contemplate today. Thank you.
This meditation was designed to take you on a journey through your body to let you know that you are safe. It's safe to change, and your body knows how to heal. To begin, close your eyes. Take a deep breath and quiet the chatter of your mind. Take another deep breath and tune into your body. As you breathe, breathe love into your body and let it surround you. Imagine yourself looking into your eyes with love. And now imagine having a conversation with yourself. Just allow yourself to let go and say, I am willing to let go. I release all tension. I release all fear. I release all anger. I release all guilt. I release all sadness and let go of old limitations. I let it go, and I am at peace. I am at peace with myself and the process of life. I am safe. My body is a glorious place to live. I rejoice that I have chosen this particular body because it is perfect for me in this lifetime. It is the perfect size, shape, and color. It serves me so well. I marvel at the miracle that is my body. I choose the healing thoughts that create and maintain my healthy body and make me feel even better. I cooperate with my body's nutritional needs and feed my body delicious healing foods. I drink clean, clear water and allow it to flow through my body, washing away all impurities. I deserve to be healed, and my healthy cells grow stronger every day. I am safe. My body knows how to heal itself, and I trust life to support my healing in every way. When I need support, I attract the right people to help me heal. Every hand that touches my body is a healing hand, including mine. Every day and in every way, I am growing healthier and healthier. I love and appreciate my beautiful body.
My digestion starts with my mouth. I love my mouth. I nourish myself by taking in new ideas. I prepare new concepts and healthy foods for digestion and assimilation. I learn to choose new foods that are delicious and supportive of my body. I have a great taste for life and for healthy food. I choose to eat slowly, to savor my food, and chew well so that I can digest with ease. This is how much I love my body. I love and appreciate my beautiful mouth. I love my stomach. It is with joy that I digest the experiences of life and the healthy, delicious food I eat. Life agrees with me, and I choose nourishing foods that agree with my body. I easily assimilate the food I eat at every meal. I choose the thoughts and the food that glorify my being. I trust life to feed me that which I need. I am good enough as I am, and I am worth taking the time to digest my food. I assimilate this thought, and I make it true for me. I love and appreciate my beautiful stomach. I love my liver. I let go of everything I no longer need, and I joyfully release all irritation, criticism, and condemnation. My liver knows how to cleanse and heal my body. Everything in my life is in divine right order. Everything that happens is for my highest good and greatest joy. I find love everywhere in my life. I love and appreciate my beautiful liver. I love my intestines. I am an open channel for good to flow in and through me. Freely, generously, and joyfully. I create new habits of choosing foods that assimilate well in my body, keeping me energized, healthy, nourished, and strong. I willfully release all thoughts and things that clutter and clog. All is normal, harmonious, and perfect in my life. I live only in the ever-present now. I choose the thoughts that keep me open and receptive to the flow of life. I have perfect intake, assimilation, and elimination. I love and appreciate my beautiful intestines.
I choose the best food for my body, and I bless this food with love. I love selecting foods that are nutritious and delicious. Planning healthy meals is a joy, and I can easily make anything taste good. My body loves the way I choose the perfect foods for myself. Mealtimes are happy times, and my body heals and strengthens with every bite I take. I am one with life, and life loves me and supports me. Therefore, I claim for myself perfect, vibrant health at all times. My body knows how to be healthy, and I cooperate by feeding it healthy foods and beverages, and exercising in ways that are enjoyable to me. I listen with love to the thoughts that I think about my health. I open myself to the wisdom within, knowing that life will bring me everything I need. Everything I need to know to create new healthy habits. I trust my body to guide me, knowing that whatever I need comes to me in the perfect time, space, and sequence. The world I live in is safe. It is full of delicious, healthy options that I can choose to create new habits for my health. I choose to love myself with each thought I think and with every bite I eat.
Good morning and welcome to our Sunday gathering at First Center for Spiritual Living. We're so happy to have you all on the call with us today, and it's a beautiful day at the center. We are at 204 West 84th Street, and I'm so pleased to be here today. And we have a number of new faces at the center too, so we're also using this opportunity to invite everyone to the center. We are open, and we'll be very happy to welcome you all at the center. We'd like to start today's meeting with an affirmative prayer, and it's always my pleasure to invite our very Reverend Robert for the opening affirmative prayer. Hello, Reverend Robert. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, James. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do the opening treatment, to open up the celebration of today's lesson. So let's all take a moment to go within and to celebrate the indwelling presence of Spirit within each and every one of us. This is indeed what we come to celebrate today by means of our lesson. So in this quiet time, in this secret place of the Most High within each and every one of us, I speak this word into the creative law, knowing and accepting that indeed there is but one life, one spirit, one mind, one source, one energy, one life that we come to celebrate within each and every one of us today by means of this lesson, that we unite with this intelligence, this one life, this one power, this one source, and that uniting, that interness with that oneness of spirit within each and every one is a celebration of the unity that we experience in consciousness. So knowing and declaring that each one is that indwelling presence of spirit, that is the loving kindness, givingness of spirit. Each one gives and expands in consciousness this mental awareness of the oneness of spirit, the celebration of the one life that permeates within each and every one's body, cell, tissues. It vibrates that divine energy that indeed is celebratory energy of life itself. So this word is released through the creative law of mind and action to celebrate the oneness of spirit, the loving givingness of God that indwells within each and every one. Knowing that there is nothing in the consciousness of anyone here that can block this love, that can block this kindness, that can block this supportiveness of the spirit indwelling presence within each and every one. So we come to celebrate as I release this word into the creative law, knowing and accepting that the celebration has already begun, that today's lesson is already a success in the mind of God, and we are that success, self-empowered by today's words, and for this we give thanks, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Reverend Robert. We have a lot packed for everyone today. For the lesson, Dr. Greg will be talking on waking up, and I look forward to listening to that lesson. And for our community time this afternoon, we have a special session with Celia Knight. She will be reading a place in a book, and it's titled Positive Expectancy, and we expect that after the reading or the lesson that we'll all talk about what we are positively expecting. We'll speak some things into being after that reading. And also to remind all of us that we still have our Power of Decision class going on, and it's on Tuesday, 3 p.m. You can still register and be part of that class. A number of people that have taken the class are really saying good things about the class. They've learned great things and are able to make decisions that matter, without procrastinating. If you don't mind, Reverend Robert, would you like to just say one or two things about the class that's going on, the Power of Decision?
Oh, sure, I'd love to. The power of decision, the power to decide, the power to choose, the power to be happy, the power to be healthy, to decide to be happy and healthy. These are the topics that we were going to be discussing come the next few weeks. I prepared the lesson for Tuesday, and it's all about deciding to be happy, and who doesn't want to be happy in today's world? And it could be a challenge in today's world to be happy. But we discuss the power of mind to change consciousness, not to change the situations that are happening in your life, not to change the events, but to change the consciousness to look at the events, to look at the challenges in your life from a higher level of consciousness, knowing that when you change your thoughts, your thinking, your consciousness, to what's going on in your life, that's the only way you can change the events and situations. So changing, and we discussed that, and we have some meditation. I have some meditations that we're going to do. We have sharing that we do. So it's a wonderful 2 hours together. And Reverend Judith will review of what she talked about last week, and the importance of making a decision, whether right or wrong, is better than making no decision at all. So she will be reviewing that. I will be discussing deciding to be happy and the power of how to do that. So please join us Tuesday from 3 to 5. Call the office if you're on Instagram or YouTube and you want the Zoom contact. Please call the office and we'll set you up. Okay. Thank you, James.
Thank you so much. Okay, just to remind everyone again that we have our classes, Louis Hayes self-healing class on Thursday, 7 p.m. If you're on Zoom, it's the same teleconference Zoom details that we use for Sunday. So tune in 7 p.m. and we'll be live with our new lesson for our self-healing class. And also we have our donate options in the chat room. If you'd like to donate to the center, you just click any of the donate links and it will just take you to what you want to do, how much you want to donate. Then all our broadcasts on Thursday, on Friday, on Thursdays and on Sundays, they are also on our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can go and listen to them again and again. And thank you, everyone. Without wasting much time, I'd like to invite Dr. Greg for the lesson today entitled Waking Up. Dr. Greg.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning. It's nice to see some people here with us, and nice to see your smiling faces out there. Today's talk, I borrowed largely from a talk that was done years ago entitled Good Stuff and God Stuff, and today we're going to name it Waking Up. So welcome again. To the First Center for Spiritual Living in New York City. This is the former First Church of Religious Science of New York. I want to welcome all the people who are with us in our extended audience. I don't know the actual numbers yet, but some weeks it's as many as 900 people who have a chance to view our lessons. So that's pretty amazing, and we want to welcome people coming back in the building. We have a few people showing up today, and this is really good. You've got to come back at your own comfort level, vaccinated and taking care of yourself. We realize that. So we're hoping to see you in person as often as we can. You can also become a member of this center now virtually. Some of you are tuning in from far places. We have a regular from Canada and another from England, and so this is a whole new era for us, and it's really kind of exciting for us to be able to develop our ministry and get our message out to a wider audience than we could ever really had foreseen. This particular center here in New York was called, or has been called, the home of Barker and Louise Hay, and I'm pretty sure most of you know who they were. Raymond Charles Barker was the founder, and he was a writer. And back in the day, you know, they used to joke that he was the Pope of religious science, and because he was a very colorful character. Then there were many others. Dr. Stuart Grayson was here for many years, and he taught many students and would-be leaders in our movement, followed by Reverend Wade Atkinson and myself. I got involved in teaching the Louise Hay material probably within a year of the book being published. And I've been running support groups and healing groups and self-esteem groups every week ever since. And that's a whole heck of a lot of years. I think the book was published in '84. And I believe I got involved with the facilitation of groups approximately 2 years later. So we're all coming together here week by week on Thursdays and on Sundays. And we also have spiritual groups that are in development. And if you want to be a part of any of them, all you have to do is send us a message. Message Jimmy, who was just on here at the podium, through any of the different platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or just send us a message or give us a call. And you can be invited into any of our activities. You can receive our e-letter. It's like a newsletter electronically, and that's always full of spiritual gems and things that can uplift you through your week. In addition, any of the talks can be listened to again and again on Facebook, where they are kept, and they get to YouTube as well. So however you're finding us today, and even if you're hearing this message a month from now, that's wonderful. So today, we know that our message is expanding. This uplifting message will reach people everywhere and on all platforms at the perfect time and place. Again, our technicians told me, or Jimmy is reporting, I haven't seen them, that we have inquiries and comments, something like 30 or 40 people wanting to join in with us last week. And so we're making a concerted effort now to reach out to everybody and allow you to become members, give you what you need to become a part. The best way to experience this always is through the Zoom call if you're not here in person, because in the Zoom call, there's a time after every gathering where we have a chance to interact. I mean, you're not compelled to do anything, but there's an opportunity to join in and to share and to listen, and that really helps build a community and lets you know that even though you're in your living room, you're not alone, that you're really a part of something bigger. So just send us a message with your name and contact information, and we'll get you set up in whatever way you'd like. And as I said before, if you're listening to one of our messages a month from now on YouTube, that's perfect. You can know that you found us at the right and perfect time, because we're always in the right and perfect time. So again, send us a message. We'll figure it out to get you involved on whatever level you'd like to be involved. Today we're talking about how to wake up, how to level up. It's an expression we've been using this year, and how it works. These are familiar themes to any good religious science person. In fact, they are the themes that are discussed in the first 4 chapters of the textbook. Ever since I was a kid, I was trying to figure out how it all worked. I don't know how it was for you. I remember being a young person. I can't remember what age it was, but I remember thinking that it didn't all seem fair. And I was speaking of the religious training that I had. And it didn't make a lot of sense, because some people were bad and some people were going to go to hell and purgatory and everywhere in between. And I know all of you had some kind of religious training, or maybe not, because especially the younger generation, millennial and the generation that comes after them, maybe they were spared some of the doctrine that some of us, my generation, had. So if you were spared, that's great. With us in this teaching, there is some learning and unlearning involved in the process of waking up, and learning to practice the affirmative life. So we're learning all the time, right? We're spiritual beings, and we're learning. And we're also unlearning. We're unlearning all the stuff that was holding us back and still holds us back. and we're learning to live the affirmative life. We have a great thing here in our teaching. It's really amazing, and you just can't lose with it. I'm fond of saying that. I borrow from Reverend Ike. Again, I remember as a kid going to Sunday school. In fact, I went to Catholic school, which a parochial school, obviously. And I was learning when I was a kid that there was sin, and I was told I was born in sin, and I had original sin. And within a few years, I was taught that I needed to seek penance. I needed to seek penance, and I needed to start confessing. And I needed to be saved and all that type of stuff. I also learned about Jesus and the whole story about Jesus and that he died for my sins. And I learned all that by the time I think I was in first grade, if you can imagine. I cannot tell you how that affected me all those years ago and how it would shape my consciousness and my desire to seek truth. Except I do recall having a sense early on of having guilt and shame for who I was. And again, there was this sense that I'm a sinner. And that's a tough thing to shake if you've been programmed with that from the time you're a young child. Now, hopefully, no one is teaching that stuff anywhere to anyone, I hope, right? But to be fair to the nuns who taught me in those days, there was good stuff that they taught also, stuff that I hung on to and that I hang on to this day. I remember one of the nuns, can't remember which name though, I remember one of them advising us in the class to love this idea, to love this God with our whole heart, our whole mind, and our whole soul, and to love everybody, period, everybody. Love this God with your whole heart, your whole mind, and your whole soul, and to love everybody, period. Now, those ideas stuck. The rest of the ideas that came with that whole package had to be examined and let go of and replaced with more expansive ideas. So loving God and loving life and loving everyone everywhere. Who does that sound like, and what does that sound like? To me, that sounds like a religious scientist, someone who is loving life and seeing God and good in everything and everywhere. That sounded good then, and that sounds equally good now. Loving life, loving God, loving spirit with our whole heart, mind, and soul. So that rings true to me as it probably did 60 years ago. Coming from that place, coming from that connected place is our challenge, and staying awake in that place is what we attempt to do. Having that consciousness, maintaining that consciousness is what we talk about and what we teach. Joining in all the reminders of that, waking to that divine fact. The divine fact is that God, that presence, is in you. Can't say that enough. That presence, that power, that essence, that spirit is in you. It's a practice to do this. So we want to hang on to that one. We want to embrace that idea. I hope whatever you were taught as a child was a little bit less severe, less dogmatic than what I was, and hopefully more life-giving. I've always imagined what it would be like to be Barbara Lundy. Now, Barbara Lundy is a person in South Florida who was raised by Reverend Norman Lundy and Reverend Dr. both Dorothy Lundy. I would wonder what it'd be like to be raised by two Science of Mind ministers where you're taught that God is all that there is and life is responding to you perfectly all the time, and that really the whole world is your oyster and life is just affirming your every breath and thought. But that isn't what I was raised with, and I don't imagine most of us were like Barbara Lundy. But whatever you got, it was good enough, It was good enough to get you here. It's good enough to get you to the point now where you are able to be the author of your own life, to be the author of your own experience. Figuring out where we are with God or the creative process can be an ongoing preoccupation, or at least it always has been for me. I didn't just jump into new thought. My awakening took time. I was kind of a slow learner, but then sometimes, I see that, I have this information that a lot of people don't have yet. And to me, it's somewhat self-evident at this point. The thing I know is that we all evolve at our own pace. And I will add now, some 50, 60 years later, we are in the perfect place, the perfect time, and all the time. I know that I'm evolving. I know that everyone on this call is evolving too. I was interested in spirituality early on, and I was always trying to make sense of it. What I have concluded from all my studies, through college, through life, through ministerial school, and then pursuing a master in the same subject, is that this power, this essence, knows of no time, occupies no singular place, it's whole everywhere, it has no gender, and that I can use it. I have concluded that I cannot ever adequately describe it, and no one else can either. Whatever we try to name it or call it, or however we try to describe it, can never be quite enough. Since there is no name for it that is adequate and no creed that's universally satisfying all people, we in our teaching spend time talking about in our textbook what it does, how it works, and how to use it. I recall from a little book of Dr. Barker's, which was entitled Spiritual Healing for Today, that he stated all creation in the individual is the result of ideas in mind. He was stating, your subconscious mind is the creative consciousness of all that you are and all that you will ever be. I say often, I've said often for 20 years to loads of students, it's all about you. It is always all about you. Whatever is in your life is in your consciousness. You really can't separate the two things. If you're talking about it's in your life, and especially if you go towards the blame game, pull that finger back. Whatever you're pointing to, and however you're pointing towards what's wrong or what's missing, pull the finger back, because everything is about you. I'll repeat Barker's wonderful words again. Your subconscious mind is the creative consciousness of all that you are and all that you will ever be. It's always been about you and your consciousness unfolding. You, I, we are individualizations of life itself, and we are unfolding beautifully, perfectly. And you have the power, and you have this tremendous power at your disposal. So here's the thing for today. Wake up, dream big, embrace bigger concepts, embrace what Barker called right thinking. I recall Louise Hay inviting us to imagine ourselves approaching the ocean of life. So imagine yourself. You're walking up to the ocean of life, and she suggests we carry a container, and we can take any kind of container we want. So as you imagine yourself walking up to the ocean of life, what's your container like, right? Is it large? Is it like a coffee cup, or is it a basin, or do you have something in your imagination which has you connected to all the good that there is? What are you preparing, she asked, to draw from the ocean of life? Is it a little, or is it a great deal? What is it like? What can you see yourself with as you imagine? Do you ask for but a little in life? Do you expect little? Is it a coffee cup or a shot glass? Or is your consciousness so expansive that you see yourself just an inlet and outlet of all of it, and where there's more and more available to you? See, however you see it is the way you're going to receive it. You get to create a magnificent life experience. It's up to you. Our teaching teaches what is possible and how to obtain it. We are each writing our own chapters of our own books, and the final chapter has not yet been written. Our founder here in New York, Raymond Charles Barker, suggested that we wake up and begin to use this power. He said our power was omnipotent when we use it correctly. Think of that word, omnipotent. I mean, we have all the power that you could possibly imagine when we learn how to use it correctly. We use our power destructively. We use our power in ignorance. We create all kinds of crazy things for ourselves as learning experiences and opportunities. And there's nothing wrong with it. But there is that suggestion from Barker. When we use our power rightly, it is omnipotent when we use it correctly. When it's used with an awareness and with a deep sense of connection with Source, as we do this, we will maintain better health, we will develop positive expectancy, and everything changes for the better. Barker spoke of right thinking. And that's when we are in alignment with Source, where we experience peace, power, love, joy, beauty, and wisdom as our reality, and the rest of the stuff we don't pay much attention to. We keep going back to knowing the truth of peace, power, love, joy, beauty, and wisdom. All of this is available to every single person who's listening on this call right now. The kingdom, if you want to call it that, is at hand always. It's here for you now if you will allow yourself to experience it. The trick, the challenge, is to be wholly present here and now, and letting go of everything and being in a new moment where you can realize this truth. As we move forward, teachers and practitioners are often asked about what we believe about this process. What do we call this higher power? All of those questions come to us all the time. And I've learned to be more careful about answering those questions and the words I use. Many of the old timers who taught me will call it plainly God. I have no problem with that word personally, but I know it can turn a whole bunch of people off. In the first 4 chapters of our textbook, Ernest Holmes seems to be calling spirit it. Yes, it, in his attempt to introduce the subject in a new way. And talking about spirit, most of the words that people use, the old words, bring in a lot of old ideas and pictures in people's mind that can get in the way of fully realizing what it is. Note that word, it, again. I recall someone saying to me years ago, in an attempt to name it, something that I liked. He called it the presence that is never an absence. I thought about that a long time. I like that one. The presence that is never an absence. We tend to use a lot of words that have meaning to us personally, probably coming from our childhood. Usually here at the center, you'll hear people call it creative intelligence or spirit. Now you can pick one that you resonate with. Reverend Theodora, I believe, is always using the word love or universal love. That's all she talks about. If all you're talking about love and universal intelligence and creativity, you're on the beam. There's a minister out there somewhere that I seem to always be hearing about who calls it Big Sweetie. And that always makes me smile when I hear somebody call it Big Sweetie. I mean, why not? It's as good as any other name, right? All the creeds, all the beliefs, to my way of thinking, are people's attempts to explain it and to work it out for themselves. So in that sense, they are all inspired or good. Inspired by people like you and me who are trying to work it out. We teach that there is but one power, one energy, one force, and that you can definitely use it. There is nothing else but it. We live in it, we move in it, we have our being in it. We wake to that, and then it seems like we forget about it. I'm forever loving the one prodigal in the whole darn Bible, and that's the story of the prodigal child, because it forever reminds me that we're born into a kingdom of goodness and wealth and opportunity, and where we have everything provided. And the parable speaks of someone that seems to get lost for a period of time in the far country, doing all kinds of wild and crazy things, right? But whenever the individual wakes and remembers who he really is, the heir of the throne, the heir to all things, and he turns to the Father, so to speak, he's reestablished in the kingdom. And that, to me, is the perfect parable because it describes what we're doing all the time. We're remembering who we are as we stay plugged into this teaching every week, and then we seem to forget for an hour or a day, sometimes much longer, and we get reconnected and we remember. So we practice is what we do here. We look for opportunities to join on Thursdays and Sundays, and when we have any accredited classes, wherever and however we can plug in, it helps. In 1985, I met one of, I think, 3 of my great teachers, and this was Reverend Bill Cameron at Unity in Florida. And he was one of those special people we all seem to encounter when we're ready for a great teacher. I used to love the conversations that I had with him. He was kind, wise, elderly, and I had lots of conversations with him. He helped me wrestle with my roots, I'll say my Christian roots, and he helped me unlearn a lot of stuff that I learned from the older religions. The dogma. And I'll forever be in his debt for a couple reasons. He and Unity helped me get ready for religious science, because without that experience, I don't think I ever would have stayed in religious science. He helped me see the Christian messages differently from a metaphysical point of view. I don't know again if I could have dealt with religious science head on back then. I needed some deprogramming, and I got that at Unity first. I found the Unity teachings a few years before I found the Louise Hay book, You Can Heal Your Life. I remember Dr. Bill Cameron saying over and over again, the birth of the Christ child happened over 2,000 years ago in Bethlehem. And every December, all over the world, people are celebrating this great event. And it's to commemorate, we're commemorating this great event and what it symbolized. And he said what it symbolized was a bigger idea than what most people realize. He always said to me, it's been the best kept secret of all the ages. Jesus represents the awakened person, the person who has self-knowledge, the person who has the knowledge of his power and how to use it. He represents the person our very soul longs for us to be. Jesus was many things to different people around Galilee, as he now represents many things to many people all over the world. For us, he is the example of who we are becoming in our own unique way. We are learning, as he knew, that Spirit and I are one, or God and you are one. You're intertwined. You can never be separate. You can always wake up and keep waking up to the truth of who you are. We are learning, as he knew, again, that Spirit and you are one. If we think a little about the early followers of Jesus and the Gospels that eventually followed, the church didn't come to exist for hundreds of years after he lived and died. There were many Gospels, and Jesus had nothing to do with any of them, nor did he have anything to say in the 4 Gospels that were eventually chosen. And they were chosen centuries after he lived. In the modern Bible, there are 4 Gospels that were selected sometime during the 4th or 5th century. Centuries later, many centuries later, we now know that there were many more than 4 Gospels. We think there was as many as 10 or 12, with similar yet very different accounts of his life. again by people that didn't ever personally know him. The organization around him grew over centuries. The organization wrote his history. And 4 out of the 10 defined it. When I was younger, I attended religious classes, as I said, and Sunday services. And whenever anybody read anything from the Bible, the last line would always ended with, "This is the word of God." Again, I love all the parables we learned in the Gospels, especially the prodigal child, as I'm sure many of you do. Loving your brother as yourself is a very high calling, and it requires a lot from us. It's like loving, God with your whole heart, mind, and soul. And loving your brother as yourself is a high calling because it speaks of the realization that you know who your brother is. Your brother is one with you. All of life is connected. We're all part of this one great life. And if you're doing this, it speaks of a very deep metaphysical understanding. It speaks of the realization of the unity of all of life and the realization that all of life in everyone is unfolding perfectly now, and it always has been. And loving God, the universe, with your whole heart and your whole being, now that is a true metaphysician. If you're doing that, you're loving life with your whole heart, your whole soul, and your whole being. That is a true metaphysician. If you are taking our teaching to that place, which you can, you are really leveling up because you're seeing the God and the good in everything all the time. That's your preoccupation. That's who you are. That's the high calling of any real practitioner, is to see the God, the good in everything and all the time. Our teaching is so much more than demonstrating just a new trinket in your life. Potentially, it is the awakening to that which is sublime and perfect, and the realization that it is in you right now. And nobody I know is doing that perfectly. But if you're aiming for the stars, that is the place to aim, toward that realization, where you can say, "Namaste, namaste," where you've seen it in him and her and them, and seeing the God, the good in everywhere, in everyone and all the time, no matter what the heck a person is doing. You have the spiritual understanding of the perfection of that person, whatever they're doing. If you're living with that consciousness, I want to hang out with you. Same way Ernest Holmes said, find me one person who is so redeemed from the bondage of self that's, living this way. You want to be with that person. You can learn a lot from that person. But along the way, we're learning to live that ourselves as we practice this teaching. And it is a practice, waking up daily and hourly sometimes. There are many hundreds of Christian groups that have added a lot of stuff over millennia to the inspired life of Jesus. His fabulous, his terrific message. There's many groups that have added a lot of stuff that greatly altered his message. I love his message without all the stuff that they added, that got heaped onto it over time. The pure message of love and acceptance of people everywhere and of self. And I love that he knew and he taught that there is a presence in us, a Father, a Spirit within, that does the work and inspires us to create new moments. Reverend Cameron, way back then, was saying over and over again, it is in you. It is in you. That was the best kept secret of all time. It's what Jesus' life really symbolized, the potential of the awakened spirit in you. The awakened spirit. It's celebrated every year during the Christmas season. But we could be living from that place of understanding every single day. That's what needs to awaken in you. It is truly the hope of your glory. As he always said to me, God in you, the hope of your glory. Now that is something to consider. If you want to meditate on that, Meditate on, that's something to meditate upon. It's a big contrast to those of us who were taught that we were born in sin or with some kind of original sin. Holy, holy you, I remember a minister saying to me years ago, how awesome and wonderful you truly are. And I know as I say these words, I can say them with ease now, but there was a time in my life I couldn't even think that way because I had all this guilt and shame that was programmed, right? Some of you on this call, will be listening to us weeks from now, and you might not be feeling particularly immaculate or even very good about yourself at the time you're hearing this, but it's still the truth of you. You're established in goodness in God. You are an individualization of life itself, and you're evolving perfectly. And somehow or another, our whole message every Thursday is about learning to love ourselves more so we can express ourselves from a higher place. Our broadcasts go far, and I'm sure some listening today might have remorse and regret and pain, and we're here to tell you that you can begin to let go of those states of consciousness. So tune in with us and let's start aiming for the stars. Not feeling good a lot of the time. If you're not feeling good a lot of the time, then this lesson is really particularly for you. And for the rest of us, it's a great reminder of the truth. I'm passing along wisdom to any of you who don't realize yet how great you are. And this lesson is for the rest of us who simply need to be reminded of that. Reminded that creative intelligence spirit in you is expressing itself perfectly through you right now. Know this with me, that all that you are, or all that you've been through rather, up until this very day has been necessary for you to be where you are right now in your understanding. Your consciousness has always been expanding. Can things get better for you? Can your life improve? Can your relationships improve? Can your supply open up? Absolutely. Yes, yes, and yes, and yes to all of these questions. When you seem to have lost so much, you might have thought, I've lost my youth, I've lost my wealth, I've lost this, I've lost that. That can be your story. When all of this seems to have happened, can the joy return? After such heartache and loss, can there be a second chance? Can there be a third chance? And the answer, of course, is yes, yes, and yes, there can, and there will be once you make a determination and learn to put a demand on consciousness for, a higher expression of life. So absolutely, emphatically, yes. Things can and will definitely get better if that is what you deeply desire. Things will get better anyway, but you can cooperate with the law and you can learn to use it in a different way. The law will always correspond to your belief. You can learn to heal your life, was a great message from Louise Hay's book. You can learn to heal your life to a point where you are optimistic and you are full of peace and calm and again, positive expectancy. The universe completely and totally has your back. It's bringing you the lessons you need to learn anyway. Now, we either forget or we haven't come to this realization as of yet. When we are waking up, the universe or life itself reflects our deepest dreams and beliefs. We who understand this teaching and the gift of affirmative prayer know that we can heal any and all areas of our life. The universe is always giving you green lights. It's always wooing you. So it's green lights for us, right? You can't lose with the stuff we use. If you use it every day and you're practicing this teaching, you just can't lose. Nothing is denied you. I'd like to see any or all who want to demonstrate greater success in any area of their life begin plugging in and attending our classes, our weekly gatherings. Just get into the conversation and listen. Participate if you can. Plug in and attend. Over the years, the students who've stayed plugged in seem to remember and stay in a state of remembrance more than those who, ebb and flow out of here. As you stay plugged in, you will engage in the discussions that will remind you always of the truth. We will introduce you or reintroduce you to new thought and its amazing power. You'll begin to get excited about the wonder that is you. And you'll begin to realize that the sky is the limit, or actually it's limitless. I'd like to see each of you hitch your wagon to the stars that Emerson spoke of. What we will do, or what we will help you do and create within you is a world where nothing and no one is against you, where it's all green lights. This teaching will help you lift your focus from conditions in your life to the greater truths of life. I'd love to know more and more of you are actively trading in lesser ideas that you hang on to for greater. I know with a little bit of effort on your part that you'll be amazed before you're halfway through. I personally know you deserve a great life, and the universe's will for you is to expand, grow in connection so you can be happy, joyous, and free. All of us are celebrating the awakening of the consciousness in you today, the hope of your glory. Jesus was a symbol of what is possible for all of us. And so ends today's lesson. Thank you.